here. Do we really want to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, yada, 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 yada? Heck no, you don't want to do that. You want a simple and easy way. So the simple and easy way is this. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 possible answers. Take the power and divide it by 4. So when you do that, on your calculator, for instance, for the first one, 45 divided by 4, you're going to get an answer that has 0.25, 0.5, 0.75, or no decimal at all. All right, so here's what that means. Has a 0.25 in it, your answer is going to be I. If your answer has a 0.5 in it, your answer is going to be -1. If your answer has a 0.75 in it, your answer is going to be -I. And if your answer has no decimal, the answer is going to be 1. So that being said, I'm going to go back to this. I got 45 divided by 4. My answer has 0.25 in it. Since it has 0.25 in it, that means the answer for I to the 45th is I. Yes, they're still making calls here at school. So I to the 45th, you know the answer has 0.25 in it, so that means my answer for this is I. So if I do I to the 24th, take my 24 and divide it by 4. As you see, there's no decimal, so our answer for no decimal is 1. So I to the 24th actually equals 1. And then you have I to the 13th. So you do the same thing, 13 divided by 4, 0.25. My answer is going to be I. And this works every time. All you have to do is take the power, divide it by 4. If your answer has 0.25 in it, your answer is I. If the calculator answer has 0.5 in it, the answer to the problem is -1. If the calculator answer has 0.75 in it, the answer is -I. And if the calculator answer doesn't have a decimal at all, your answer is 1. So now moving on to complex problems. All right, complex is a combination of a real number and an imaginary number. Your real part always going to come first. Your imaginary part, I, is always going to come last. So here are your couple examples. You got 1 plus I, 39 plus 3I, 0.8 minus 2.2I, -2 minus pi I, so on and so forth. So as you see, a complex number, either part can be 0. So the real part and an imaginary part, and either part can be 0. So as you look at this, the complex number 3 plus 2I. The real part is 3. The imaginary part is 2I. Complex number 5. Well, the real part is 5. There's no I there. The imaginary part would actually be 0I. And in this one, the real part is actually 0, and the complex part is -6I. So as you see, very easy to break apart. Either part can be 0, doesn't matter which one. So with these complex numbers, we can add them, subtract them, just like we would multiply them, divide them, just like we can with variables. So adding and subtracting them are really, really, really simple. All right, so you add the ones without eyes, add the ones with eyes. Okay, so very basically, this right here, which ones don't have eyes? The 3 and the 1. So I have 3 plus 1, which is 4. I have 2I plus 7I. Well, 2 plus 7 gives me plus 9I. And that's as far as you can go with it. That's it. That's your answer right there. Plain and simple. All right. Multiplying. If I wanted to multiply these, You're going to do it just like you would if this was an x or y or any variable. You guys know I like the box method. So I've got 3 plus 2i. I got 1 plus 7i. And again, you just got to see where they cross. Where they cross, you multiply them and put them in the box. So I got 3 times 1. That is 3. I got 3 times 7i, which is 21i. I got 2i times 1, which is 2i. And I got 2i times 7i, which is 14i squared. So what that gives me is 3 plus 21i plus 2i plus 14i squared. All right. I can combine these. They have like terms, so I now have 3 plus 23i plus 14i squared. And if you guys remember correctly, from the very couple pages back, I squared actually equals -1. So with that said, this is actually 3 plus 23i plus 14 times a -1. Well, that means I have 3 plus 23i minus 14 now. Now I can combine these two. And 3 minus 14 is -11. So my answer would be -11 plus 23i. Now, I'm sure you're probably sitting there thinking, man, that's a lot of work. That can take a long time. Yeah, you're right. It can. And then you're probably like, Coach Dole, is there an easy way? Absolutely there is. All right, so if you've got one of these handy-dandy calculators, which some of you may not, hopefully you do. And if you don't, hopefully you have somebody around that does. If you look on this calculator right here at the decimal place, you can see this itty-bitty little yellow I. Yeah, that's exactly what you think it is. It is the I. All right, so what we would do, if you want to do this without doing it by hand, you type it in exactly how you see it. 3 plus 2i, close my parenthesis. 1 plus 7i, close my parenthesis. And then all I got to do is press enter. And as you see, we got -11 plus 23i. And my calculator here says -11 plus 23i, and I'm done. Can you do that with addition? Well, sure. We'll take the same problem from above. 3 plus 2i plus 1 plus 7i. And I'm pretty sure that's the same answer we got up here. Oh, yeah, there it is. 4 plus 9i. So you can do all these on the calculator if you really, really want to. Just like this problem here, for example 5. Type it in exactly how I see it. 1 plus I. And then they want us to square it. And all I got to do is press enter. And there's my answer, 2i. And I'm done. That's it. And you can do division the same exact way. All right. So turn it over here to the division. They talk about conjugates and things like that, but we just really need to work on it with the calculator. Make our life simple, right? So I'm going to type it in exactly how I see it. Now you have to be careful here because whenever you do division, we want to make sure we have parentheses around these so we don't screw this up. Because yes, you can screw it up. So we have 2 plus 3i divide 5 minus 2i. And like I said, you just got to press enter. So now we get a bunch of decimals and things like that that doesn't look really clean. Well, on your calculator, you can math enter it. And now we have fractions and make our life simple. So my answer for this one would be 4 over 29 plus 19 over 29i. And there we go, I'm done. That's it. That's as far as you can go. So here are some of the examples. It says for you to try. Well, we're going to work through these a little bit, make your life a little bit simpler before you actually try the problems I want you to try. So if simplifying, again, first thing I got to take out, got to take the I out. Once I take the I out, it's no longer negative. So I have I square root 72. And again, the first thing you want to find out is 72 perfect. And as you see, no, it's not. So what do? I go to y equals 72 divided by x squared. And I just take a look at my table. And I'm looking for the lowest number without a decimal, which there it is, 2 under y. So 6 is on the outside with y, or excuse me, with I. And underneath the square root would be 2. And that's my answer. That's it. And so for part 2 here, they want us to just simplify this one. And you can do it just in the calculator. Very simply. They have negative 9i times negative 5i. And once you press enter, you have the answer, which is negative 45. Part 3, solve it. So first thing I gotta do is I gotta get x by itself. So to do that, I have to subtract 100. So that leaves me 4x squared equals negative 100. Again, still gotta get x by itself. By 4. That gives me x squared now equals negative 25. And just like on the page before, I square root both sides. And when I do that, I now have x equals square root of negative 25. I've got to bring the I out. And the square root of 25 is 5, so my x equals 5. And then the I. There you go. So the next part, it's a little bit different. All right, a little bit different. We have a real part, the real part, and the real part. And then you have an imaginary part and an imaginary part. So you have to set up two equations to find out what A equals and what B equals. So to find A, we take our A plus 4, which is our real part, and set it to the real answer, which is 7. And then it's pretty easy from here. You're just solving for A. So I just subtract 4 and subtract 4, and I find out that A equals 3. All done. So this part, same thing. I don't even have to worry about the I's. I just got to find out what B is. So I've got 2B minus 6 should equal 9. So I'm going to add my 6. So I have 2B now equals 15. Divide that by 2. B should equal 7.5. That's it. So part 5, they just want you to add and subtract. And again, you can do these straight in your calculator. Just type it as you see it. Negative 7 plus 5i. Close my parentheses. That is a plus. And then 12 plus 3i. And all I got to do is press enter. And bam. 5 plus 8i is my answer. And I'm done. Same thing with the subtraction over here. Alright. Same thing we got going on. So I've got 6 plus 3i. And that's now minus negative 1 minus 4i. All you got to do is press enter. And your answer there, 7 plus 7i. And I'm done. All right. So if you guys got questions, email me, whatever you got to do, and we'll go from there. All right. Hope you guys are doing well.